human and caging them like that is bizarre.
Brand new information in a local child abuse case in an upscale neighborhood. How authorities discovered what was happening in the family garage.
A missing mother found dead in Indian River County. Now police are telling us this could be linked to the disappearance of another woman on the Treasure Coast. We'll tell you what we're learning from this case.
And skies are dry this morning after a very rainy Wednesday. I'm going to let you know when more rain returns with our next weather maker.
You're watching CBS 12 News This Morning.
A nice chilly start here to your Thursday morning. It is 6 a.m. Good morning, I'm Matt Lincoln.
And I'm Ashley Glass. It is chilly, you're going to notice right when you walk out the door, but much drier right now compared to yesterday morning when we were getting all that rain, Lauren.
That's right. It's a lot nicer outside this morning. Remember, we've got time and temperature on your screen. I think it's on this side of the screen at all times, so you can look at your current temperature as you're getting ready this morning. We're in the 40s and 50s out there, and again, yes, we are clear. It's 13 degrees colder right now in Okeechobee than it was 24 hours ago. So we're at 41 currently in Okeechobee. Yesterday, you were at 52 at this time. A little colder in West Palm Beach also, currently at 54 degrees. So some nice temperature changes out there to start us off. It's a nice cool day outside. Numbers at the bottom here, these are your wind speeds and direction. So winds out of the north to northeast, around 10 miles an hour or so. And then we're going to stay nice and cool and comfortable too. We head to near 71 degrees by about 11 o'clock. High temperatures for today are in the low to mid 70s. This is average to maybe just a few degrees below average for this time of year. But then we'll see a slow warm up before our next weather maker moves in, and we'll time out when it gets here and could bring us some rain. That's in my next update. Matt, Ashley?
Lauren, thank you. Here at 6:01, taking a look at our roads. Our traffic tracker is on southbound the Turnpike in Lantana. Not seeing any problems right now there at this time, but Gary's going to be rolling along all morning long. We'll check in with him in just a little bit. We're coming now, 6:02, and this morning we are following new details in a child abuse case that police uncovered in Jupiter this week. These Jupiter parents, Tracy and Timothy Ferreter, are accused of locking their 13-year-old adopted son in an 8x8 box in their garage. Inside was only a Ring camera, a mattress, and a bucket to use as a bathroom. Police say this happened in the upscale neighborhood of Egret Landing in Jupiter. That's right across the street from Jupiter First Church and St. Peter's Catholic Church. We have team coverage for you on this morning. Sam Kerrigan at the live desk with what neighbors in the area are saying about this disturbing case. But we begin with CBS 12 News' Kara Duffy live from the Jupiter Police Department. Kara, give us the latest here. This couple has now been released from jail?
That's right, Matt. Tracy and Timothy Ferreter are now out of jail this morning after a judge set their bond at $50,000 each. The judge also ordered the couple to have a no contact order with their other children. That means they cannot see or talk to any of their kids as this investigation continues to play out. Now, their release comes as we continue to learn disturbing new details about this alleged abuse case. The parents, both 46, are accused of locking their adopted son inside an 8x8 structure in the family's garage, separated from the other children in the home. We're told it was for up to 18 hours at a time with only a mattress and a bucket to use as a bathroom. During this investigation, detectives also discovered a Ring camera inside that tiny room they were able to use to confirm the teen's story, finding thousands of videos showing physical and emotional abuse. Now, according to the documents, the teen told investigators that he was also abused out of state in Arizona. Public records show that the family lived in Tucson for a few years until late December. That's when they moved back to the Jupiter community. An attorney for the couple implied to the judge yesterday during their first appearance that the teen had behavioral disorders, something that the mother also told investigators at one point, suggesting that that may be a reason why the teen was locked up. And Matt, Ashley, also disturbing, we're also learning that Tracy was a former teacher, so a former aide at All Saints Catholic School between March of 2014 and 2017. In the meantime, we asked Jupiter Police for an update on the teen's whereabouts. A spokesperson could not give us that information, only saying that the 13-year-old boy was now in a safe location.
It's unbelievable, Kara. A parent, a teacher's aide facing these accusations. How did police figure it out? If the teen didn't tell anyone and his siblings didn't tell anyone and neighbors didn't see anything. Well, it started with a phone call we're learning from the man who built the box. In late December, a man only identified as Jack told police he found it very strange that he was asked to build an 8x8 structure that he was told would be an office, but it had a deadbolt lock and a knob only on the outside, and to install a camera in the ceiling. Fast forward, late January, a missing persons investigation. An officer realized it was the same Jupiter address as where Jack had built the box. When detectives arrived at the Ferreter home, they say Tracy was adamant they didn't come inside. One of the detectives convinced her to let him in, and she showed him a structure she said the family had built and had several different explanations for the room. She said it was built as an office. Then she said it was used for storage, hence the lock and the knob on the outside. Then she said it was a space used by all the children. The next day, detectives found the boy running outside of his school, and they brought him in for questioning, where he explained in graphic detail how he was locked in that structure a lot, not allowed to go anywhere else in the house. He said he was slammed against a wall by his neck and hit with a belt and a jump rope. He said he uses the bucket as a toilet and is made to dump it out in the backyard, clean it out. He said he had a room in Arizona similar to the room he has now. Now, at the end of the interview, the boy pleaded with detectives to arrest the boy, stating he would rather be in prison than back at home. The siblings were all interviewed separately, telling detectives they heard the abuse through the walls of his bedroom. One of the girls started to cry, got very emotional, saying she wanted to do the right thing for her brother. All four of these kids now in DCF custody this morning. If you want to know more about this story, it's shaken the entire community, the neighbors, people learning what happened. We have all of these documents, all of this new information posted on our website, cbs12.com.
All right, Ashley, 6:06 now, and those shocking details are making it really hard for neighbors in the quiet and relatively safe Egret Landing community. Very hard to believe here as our team coverage continues now with Sam at the live desk. Sam, the community is just in disbelief this morning.
Yeah, Matt, people who live near the Ferreters are understandably having a hard time wrapping their heads around what this couple is accused of doing to their child. One neighbor we spoke to, who has a 13-year-old son of his own, says he just can't imagine any reason why a parent would ever lock up their kid.
You gotta have something messed up in your head to be able to do that to a human. It's a little bit sad and disheartening and grotesque.
We also talked to another man who lives just a couple doors down the street from the Ferreters, and he tells us this is just the most disturbing thing he's ever heard.
They were kind of odd, I always thought, a little bit, but I wouldn't have thought anything like that. I never heard anything like that before. That's crazy.
Now, none of the neighbors we spoke with had ever seen the box in the garage that police say the couple kept their son in. But again, hard for many of them to believe this was happening right next door in their seemingly safe community. Matt?
All right, Sam, and this morning we're also hearing from a local psychologist who specializes in trauma and abuse in regards to this case. Dr. Rachel Needle tells us this abuse can cause victims to feel isolated, fear, and distrust, which can then lead to psychological consequences of educational difficulties, low self-esteem, and depression.
Especially when that trust was broken from such an early age by the people that you're supposed to be able to feel the safest with and be able to trust the most, which are your caregivers.
Dr. Needle says many people with prolonged history of abuse do have successful and healthy relationships when they're older, but the sooner the person can get help, the better. If you see any changes in a person's behavior, like how they're dressing, acting, or their overall mood, you should speak up.
6:08 is the time right now. This morning, a story on the Treasure Coast. We're following the case of these two mothers mysteriously missing from Fellsmere, 2 years apart the cases. One woman, Aaliyah Beamer, who you see here on the right in the hoodie, she was reported missing last week, found dead this week. But now detectives believe that case could be linked to the disappearance of Amanda Town, seen here. That was from 2 years ago she was last seen. Deputies say the two missing women didn't know each other. They say Beamer moved to Fellsmere a few months ago, long after Town went missing. Sheriff says someone in the Fellsmere area knows what happened in both of these cases. And now they're asking anyone with tips to come forward.
Okay, 6:09 now to your Eye on Education. This morning we are learning 12 school districts, including Palm Beach and Indian River counties, could lose millions of dollars in funding. A new proposal looks to take money away from the districts that defied the governor's mask mandate ban in schools last year. That means The 55 school districts in the state that did not have those bans would share $200 million from the 12 districts that did not follow the state's ban. So the bill will go to the House floor next week.
Also this morning, we're getting new numbers on teacher vacancies in the state. Florida Education Association says there are more job openings right now than ever before, mostly due to stresses of the pandemic. We're almost 2 years into it now. State Board of Education says there are nearly 4,500 open positions. You see the specifics listed out on your screen here. About 1,300 are teaching jobs that deal with special needs students, 700 elementary school positions. Right now, this is a bright spot here. Proposals in the legislature are looking to give teachers a salary boost and bonuses, which could in turn fill some of these vacancies, make the jobs more attractive.
6:10, just days before the Super Bowl, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell faced some difficult question. He was pressed in the lawsuit filed by former Dolphins head coach Brian Flores that claimed racial discrimination in the NFL's hiring process. This is something that Goodell admitted the NFL has not done enough to hire a more diverse group of head coaches.
It's more important for us to sort of listen to Coach, understand what he and other coaches are going through, what our clubs are going through, what the feedback they have. And also, again, reevaluate everything we're doing.
Flores is calling into question the effectiveness of the Rooney Rule, which mandates teams interview at least one minority candidate for a head coaching job. Goodell says he'll look at what changes need to be made to the rule, saying he's not against a complete overhaul. And this week, Mike McDaniel officially signed as the Dolphins' new head coach following the firing of Flores. He'll have his first press conference this morning at 10 a.m. I'll be tweeting about it on my Twitter at LincolnCBS12. Also, sports director John Evanson is going to have all the updates, everything he says coming up in our later newscast, so stay tuned throughout the day. Danielle?
On CBS 12 News this morning, we continue our investigation into a local OBGYN linked to a long list of patient injuries and even deaths, but he kept practicing for years. Coming up, the I-Team gets answers from the Florida Board of Medicine.
And keeping people safer in South Florida high-rises will tell you the first city to change its inspection laws after last year's deadly condo collapse. That's coming up next on CBS 12 News this morning.